if we just deal with this, I believe, in an ambient air quality, because if we can capture the ambient and correct the ambient, we're going to collect most of the toxins too by the same regulations and the same kind of controls. I know that that's an emotional thing when we start talking about toxins and neurotoxins and the health risks and the asthma. To me, it's more simple. If we look at this at an ambient air quality, if we do all the things that we need to do to regulate the ambient air quality, we're going to take care of the benzenes and the other things. We also just cannot afford to grandfather all the thousands of existing well sites in this region. We need to have the industry be put on some sort of schedule to use every technological advancement to bring older equipment up to date. There's just too much equipment already operating. We need the might of the federal government in Texas to comply same as all the other 49 states. In Texas, we keep hearing, and I hear it regularly at work, well, Texas is independent and we need to do this and we can be different. Our TCEQ has not been looking after our best interests. Texas is unique in that it's been in the oil and gas industry more than any other state probably, and we've allowed them too many loopholes to jump through. So we look forward to these rule changes that you be making and contemplating. NCTCA is going to be very active in helping making further comments as we see what you're doing down the line. I hope what makes sense does not mean dollars rule. Health and safety must be in the most important sense that we're making. Thank you.
My name is Mark McCord. I'm currently the webmaster and the former environmental committee chairman for Dallastown River Club. We're an outdoor activity club primarily involved in canoeing, kayaking, and rafting rivers. However, many of our members also are active in other sports, including bicycling, running, and other events where they're outside, and many times where they're in areas where they are indeed breathing the fumes, the vapors that come off of oil and gas rigs. I started out to talk to you guys tonight about something that was a little bit close to my heart based on a movie called Gasland I saw regarding the fracking incident, and then found out that this was really primarily about air rather than water. But I'd like to point out that you really cannot separate air, water, and soil pollution one from the other. They all are interchangeable. If you have pollutants, such as in the fracking industry, where they're putting 500 some odd toxic chemicals, pumping it into the ground, into the water, and it gets into the water, pretty soon it also gets into the soil, and pretty soon it does become airborne. And when I see video of people turning on their water tap and then taking a big lighter and igniting the gas fumes from their running water tap, that tells me there's a lot of things coming into the air that are harmful to humans that we should not be breathing. And when I see the studies done and hear the talks about the people who have had major medical problems in the areas where fracking is being done, and then I find that in the 2005 energy bill, they were specifically given an exemption from even having to report the toxic chemicals that they're using in their process and pumping into the ground that is then coming back to cause cancers and other harmful diseases that are killing people and greatly reducing their way of life. It strikes me as something is not right here. We're not being told the true story by the people that we've entrusted to do these things. And as been mentioned by many other people, TCEQ is not a friend of the citizen of Texas. It works in favor of the industries it regulates and frequently gives the people of Texas a short shrift. I would like to remind you, we only have one environment. When it's gone, we're gone. At one time, dinosaurs roamed this earth. Environmental pollution wiped out the dinosaur species, and they were a lot bigger and a lot tougher than we are. We're killing ourselves, and we found myriad ways to do it, but we seem to have found very little ways that we can do anything to stop the destruction to our civilization. And the Barnett Shale, with 10,000 or more current gas wells being drilled in Johnson and Tarrant counties alone, is contributing significant air pollution to the whole Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. But the prevailing winds here are from the southwest, and Dallas County itself is the biggest portion of the population in the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan statistical area. Therefore, all that pollution that's coming up out of the oil and gas production in Barnett Shale eventually blows right into the air that we in Dallas breathe every single day. And when I was a kid growing up, I used to talk about air pollution, and my dad used to tell me, well, it's not as bad as it is in LA. I've flown into LA, and recently I've flown into Dallas. And I'm here to tell you that you can see that same orange-brown haze in the air in Dallas today that 25 years ago was commonplace in Los Angeles. It's something that we need to take to heart, and the people that we entrust in our government to regulate these industries need to do just that. They need to regulate these industries and hold them accountable. And we cannot keep using the excuse, like my Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison likes to tell me all the time when I address these problems to her, that we have to balance the need for a healthy environment against the needs of our economy. I would submit to you that if we kill ourselves, we have no need to worry about a balanced economy because it won't be anybody.
Thank you guys very much. Melissa Taldigan, I hope that's roughly close, and Andy Chester.
Good evening. You actually heard from one of the board of directors from the organization that I represent tonight. My name is Melissa Taldigan, and I am the Director of External Affairs for CEA. I'm not going to repeat what we are or who we are, since Mark William did that. But I will say that we do represent energy and consumer sectors and have been large proponents of a balanced national energy policy. I'm pleased to comment here today before you, and I hope to stress to you today how the energy industry is working to provide energy in a cleaner way, and just how essential the industry is to our national and state economies. CEA, as well as the oil and natural gas industry, understand public concerns regarding air emissions during oil and gas production operations. We believe all drilling practices employed by the industry should be as transparent as possible. Since we're all relying on clean air, we can all agree that the production of oil and natural gas should be well regulated and held to a high standard. To date, the industry has worked on improving operations and technologies to make production cleaner and safer. Since 1990, the U.S. oil and natural gas industry has invested more than $194 billion toward improving the environmental performance of its products, facilities, and operations. This amounts to approximately $639 for every single person in this country. In 2008 alone, approximately $19 billion was spent on the environment, $17.4 billion was spent implementing new technologies, creating cleaner fuels, and funding ongoing environmental initiatives. About 55% of the industry's environmental expenditures in 2008 targeted air pollution abatement, meeting or surpassing the requirements of the 1990 Clean Air Act. Between 2000 and 2008, the industry invested $58.4 billion in carbon mitigation technologies, more than any other private industry or federal government. Additionally, refineries across the nation have implemented new processes designed to dramatically reduce the presence of sulfur in gasoline and diesel, years ahead of the standards mandated by the federal government. Ultimately, air contamination is not acceptable, and the industry recognizes that any problem should be quickly and appropriately addressed. This is something CEA strongly believes in. If harm does occur as a result of industry action, they must do all they can to correct all wrongs. while addressing public concerns over oil and natural gas production, we should also consider the potential economic benefits that expanded oil and natural gas production could bring to our nation and to Texas. The success of our economic recovery may rely in part on the ability to meet our growing energy demands. In 2008, the United States consumed 19.5 million barrels of petroleum products a day, making the U.S. the world's largest petroleum consumer. We consume more energy from petroleum than from any other energy source. As we all know, our domestic oil and natural gas resources hold immense potential in meeting these demands. In fact, it is estimated that the U.S. possesses about 2.3 trillion barrels of oil and untapped resources that could be reasonably and safely developed with improved technology. Already, the development of many of our domestic shale gas resources has negated importing 7 to 9 billion cubic feet per day of LNG during this past year alone. This amounts to a reduction in imports by almost $30 million a day. Not only does this give us the potential to transform our nation's energy future, especially as we work to develop cleaner, more efficient energy, but it also gives us the ability to maintain our competitiveness and create good, stable jobs. Currently, the oil and natural gas industry provides direct employment for more than 1.8 million people in the country, but it supports 9.2 million American jobs. Moreover, hundreds of thousands of jobs rely on energy production in this country, from aviation to trucking to chemical manufacturing to iron and steel manufacturing to agriculture. Income generated from direct and indirect employment was estimated at $558 billion in 2007, representing a little more than 6% of the national total labor income for that year. Without energy production, the nation's consumers will face additional hardship in an already fragile economy where more than 15 million Americans are still out of work. While the advantages of oil and gas production to the nation are undeniable, we in the state of Texas stand to benefit in particular. We lead the nation in crude oil production and refining. We account for more than 25% of the nation's total capacity. We're the largest U.S. producer of natural gas and have greater production than that of most countries. Energy production plays a vital role in sustaining the health of our state economy, creates jobs and tax revenues. 1.8 million jobs are supported by the industry, adding up to almost $294 billion of the state's gross state product, 24% of the state wealth. And about 225 out of the 254 Texas counties have active industry operations and employees. Our unemployment rate is 8%. We need this industry. Moreover, with new federal mandates in place, Texas is going to need clean, abundant, and more efficient power to meet its energy needs. It's going to take years to invest in new energy technologies. We all know that. Natural gas stands ready to power the state now and to provide this bridge to an alternative energy future. It's the lowest emitting conventional fuel that can be used to achieve huge emissions reductions at moderate cost. It is also the most cost-effective source of new electric generation and is essential to ensure consistent, reliable electricity supply, which can be used in conjunction with wind energy and the smart grid. Air emissions reduction during energy production is incredibly important to achieve public health. But we also must consider how to protect public health and reduce air emissions during our energy use. Further, as natural gas expands in the U.S., price stability is more likely to occur because of increased supply. There is an increased interest from our members representing the manufacturing and chemical industries, agriculture, among others, to reinvest in domestic natural gas production. It will help generate jobs and will strengthen the economy. We need to be able to meet domestic energy demand, and we need to be very careful about slowing down the regulatory process. Therefore, we really need a holistic evaluation of environmental and economic growth concerns. Abundant, affordable energy and a viable economy allow us to pay for continued research into alternative forms of energy. It's in our interest that we continue to produce oil and natural gas safely and in a manner that protects the health of our communities and ensures our energy future. Thank you.
Mr. Cheshire.
I have some stuff written up here, but I think I'm just going to scratch it off.